Welcome to Fishing with Greg, episode 4. On this episode, we're doing a week-long camping trip on the French River. Oh, almost lost that lure again. Fat bass on the fluke. So I was just fishing some top waters and had a lot of little pike going. One almost stole my Zara spook there. So I put on a bit of a heavier leader and started fishing the fluke that I do for pike, and then this smallmouth. We had almost no bass around here. This guy just came up and crushed that fluke. Beautiful. Had almost no bass all week. And now they're liking this pink fluke. How do you like that? French River smallmouth. Ooh, and they're crushing it. Like, look at that. He wanted that. I mean, not a giant, but a nice healthy fish. We've had a pretty tough time out here weather-wise. As you can see, I'm in the woods right now. It's hard to even film at the campsite because it's very windy, and it's been windy pretty much since we got here. It's Thursday now, and we got here on Saturday. We got here on Saturday and got to campsite 706 around Crombie Bay. We did some fishing in the wind, had some small pike, nothing too interesting. But then proceeded on to our original plan, which was to do a loop around Georgian Bay, down through the western outlet, and then up through Fox Lake. Unfortunately, the weather kind of hindered those plans. We got as far as campsite 815 in Gravel Bay by the third night, and it seemed promising. It was a really nice day on Monday, and we were doing some trolling through the mailbox with this lure right here, hooked into a big smallmouth. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of line out, and it jumped right away and through the hook, so we didn't land it, but it seemed really promising. Unfortunately, the weather turned on us again, and it was just brutal. We had a thunderstorm one of the nights, the winds picked up, and the fishing was really tough. The one opportunity we had was in a sheltered area. I started throwing a popper. Unfortunately, because I was going for smallmouth, I didn't have a leader on. A decent sized pike hit it. If you check out my blog, I've done a little fishing map so you can see all these spots on the map. But no leader, decent sized pike, just ripped right through my line. I had it hooked, but again, couldn't land it. So it's just been really tough this week. We made the decision for safety reasons not to go on Georgian Bay. It was just way too windy. So we've come back through the Western Channel, and now we're at campsite 704. Fortunately, we had a nice morning where there was a bit of break from the wind, and going again through Crombie Bay, we found some deeper weed lines, and that's where we got a couple decent bass fishing the fluke there. We've got a couple days left. Hopefully the wind will die down a little bit and we can get into some other fish out here. Would like to get into a couple good ones before the weekends. After having some success with a pink fluke, I eventually tied on a wacky rigged Senko. I've taken the audio out of these videos because the wind noise on the microphone was overwhelming. As you can see, I landed this decent smallmouth right before sunset. It coughed up a crayfish, which was an excellent indication of what the bass were feeding on at the time. Before the trip, I'd been watching one of Bobby Zumi's shows on the French River. In that video, which is linked in the description below, he talks about finding saddles. He explains what those are in the video, so I suggest you watch it. And that's exactly what I found here. In fact, and I have a witness to prove it, I was talking about that right before hooking into this fish. This bass was exactly where it was supposed to be. So when I say the weather hasn't been cooperative on this trip, and if you think I'm exaggerating, it's the last day. We're almost back at Hartley Bay Marina, and it might look like it's kind of drizzling outside, but that isn't rain. It's actually snow or sleet or something. I don't know if you could see that, but it's not rain. This is about, we've experienced pretty much every season that you can imagine here. I've never been out canoeing in the snow, and it's September 30th. Hard to believe, but kind of sums up our trip in a nutshell.